good afternoon. A very Merry Christmas to you. Welcome to the Christmas edition of Midday Live from the News Hub here in Adisawe, Kanda. I am Natalie Fort. Let's take a look at our headlines this afternoon. Today is Christmas, the day commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ. We'll be finding out the significance of Christmas in modern days. Several hectares of farmlands in the northern region destroyed by fire. Inadequate number of doctors at the Children's Hospital in Accra affecting healthcare delivery as 7 doctors attend to 200 patients a day. And on the international front, a Russian military plane with 92 people on board has crashed into the Black Sea. We have the details of these stories as well as the very latest in entertainment and sports in the next hour. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is where we start off this afternoon. TV3 Network has donated assorted items worth 5,000 cedis and an undisclosed cash amount to the Village of Hope orphanage at the Gomwa Fete in the central region. The head of marketing department, Millicent Mensah, said the donation forms part of efforts to put smiles on the faces of the needy.
The orphanage has a population of 244 inmates. The donation forms part of the corporate social responsibility of TV3 Network Limited. Items including beverages from companies who have supported TV3 over the years, toiletries, detergents and boxes of bottled water were presented. The head of the sales department of TV3 Network, Millicent Mensah, promised continued support.
It is something that we do every year, just to thank God for how far He's brought us, and to also put smiles on the faces of children who don't have parents and yet also have to celebrate the season of the birth of Christ.
Officials of the orphanage expressed worry some inmates may drop out of school due to the home's inability to pay their school fees. They again appealed for a vehicle to enable them to monitor students and also cut donations from communities to the home.
Every semester or every term, we go around visiting all the non-residential children. We don't have a car, so we're also pleading with people, especially those car companies. If you can help us with a pickup, we'll be very grateful.
The school's bakery is in a deplorable state, and the new one being built has come to a halt due to lack of funds.
We do our own bread, but the place is very bad. In the morning, if you don't take care, you will meet reptiles over there. So we've started building a new bakery, which we think that if people should come and support us, we can have a very decent bakery for the children.
Authorities of the home, however, commended TV3 for the support and asked for more from corporate Ghana.
On a less hopeful note, the Children's Hospital in Accra has only 7 doctors for 200 patients a day. The inadequate number of medical personnel is affecting smooth healthcare delivery. Patients wait for long hours to see doctors.
Established in 1926, the Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital serves as the only children's hospital in Accra. The facility prioritizes maternal and child health care. The hospital, however, does not have enough medical doctors to cater for the growing number of cases reported daily.
This is the situation at the Princess Marie Children's Hospital in Accra. I'm currently at the outpatient department, and according to my watch, it's about 1:45. Now, I am told by some of the parents who are here with their kids that they've been here since 6 a.m. and they are yet to receive medical attention. Now, the situation is like this because of a lack of medical personnel to attend to these kids. I am told that there aren't many doctors in the hospital to cater for these kids, and for that matter, they have to wait for long hours.
Though the health ministry promised supplying more doctors, it is yet to be fulfilled. The hospital administrator, Francisca Sefako Kumaho, says only 7 to 8 doctors serve about 200 patients a day.
Yes, the numbers are increasing, but we don't have the doctors, we don't have the medical officers. So that is where our biggest challenge is. So you realize that our waiting time is very long.
Some parents who were waiting with their children shared how frustrating it is to wait for doctors to attend to them.
We need more doctors because there are too many folders, but very few doctors. They are working, but things are not moving fast.
This is what prompted pupils from Happy Kids School Scout Group to support patients on admission. The annual visit is to put smiles on the faces of the children who are unable to celebrate Christmas due to illness. Pupils of the school expressed joy for contributing to the running of the health facility.
Some of the children are sick and they are in bed, so they don't go out to celebrate the Christmas. So we came here to give them some gifts and presents and make them feel happy about themselves.
Still in the spirit of the Christmas season, MTN Ghana Foundation, in partnership with Free Launch Ghana, a non-governmental organization, have fed more than 400 pupils of the Anof MA Basic School in the Nsawam Aduadri municipality. The festive occasion forms part of activities of the MTN Foundation.
The MTN Ghana Foundation organizes feasts for children in deprived communities during Christmas. This year, MTN collaborated with Free Lunch Ghana on 2 occasions to feed pupils of the Anof MA Basic School in the Nsawam Aduadri municipality and Kolegono in Accra metropolis. The pupils were taken through an infant Xmas card designing. The kids also took part in spelling competition and choreography displays. A group calling itself Painting in the Open also rendered painting services to grace the occasion. The Executive Secretary of MTN Ghana Foundation, Robert Kuzio, explained the event will be reviewed to impact more lives.
We want other people to also benefit from the goodwill of MTN Ghana Foundation, and so we are here today. Next year, we may be in another community as well.
The Executive Director of Free Lunch Ghana believes serving children with balanced meal will prevent illnesses.
We have 2 main focuses, so we aim to nourish the bodies of underprivileged kids, also to build the brains and character of underprivileged kids.
The headmistress of Anof MA Basic School described the event as an enrollment booster.
This is the second time that you are organizing a party for the children. So the children were happy, even it's serving as a enrollment drive.
Some pupils also expressed appreciation to the benevolent organization. Both partners say more will be done to improve the quality of services to children in rural communities.
Away from that, a 33-year-old aluminium fabricator has been arrested by the Teshi District Police for unlawful entry and stealing. The suspect, Rashid Kabiru Ameyao, was arrested with a flat-screen television monitor.
The incident occurred around 10 o'clock Tuesday morning at Teshi Rasta in Accra. The police alleged some neighbors noticed Rashid breaking into an Indian man's residence and alerted the police. Rashid Kabiru Aremiyao, upon seeing the policeman, jumped a wall and took to his heels, leaving behind a 36-inch flat-screen television set he had already moved out. The police pursued and arrested him. Rashid told the police he broke into the house through the back door. He confessed to the police that he does not operate with any group. Preliminary police investigations have revealed that Rashid resides at Abosokai and has been involved in a series of robberies. He will be arraigned before court soon on charges of unlawful entry, causing unlawful damage and stealing.
In one of our headline stories, several hectares of farmlands in the northern region have been destroyed by fire. Residents complain. Farmers say that they've lost huge investments due to the fire. This is a report by Eva Atibuka. Bushfire continues to destroy farmlands in the northern region. Some farmers have lost entire farm produce to fire. Baba Musa lost his 8-acre farm to fire and is now heavily indebted.
We harvested with our bare hands. I hired a tractor to go and cart the rice home, only to get there the next day and everything had turned into ashes.
Bush burning really has effect to it. Also, the bush burning is usually attributed to smokers. It is not smokers who does that. People just set fire because they think we the farmers do not actually deserve to get what we really farm for. It's as a result of wickedness of mankind that sometimes they set fire on the bush.
He is not alone. Many more suffered similar fate. They blamed the losses on the slow process of manual harvesting due to the lack of combined harvesters. It is late December, but large quantities of rice are still locked up on farmlands amidst indiscriminate bush burning. The produce is overly dried and shedding, but the owners have no combined harvesters to work with. The farmers want stringent measures to stop bush burning and combined harvesters to make available by the Ministry of Agriculture to enable them salvage their produce from bushfires. You're still watching the Christmas edition of Midday Live. Return with more news after this. Welcome back to Midday Live. It's now time for us to take a look at some business news. We start off in the Upper East region, where rice farmers are complaining about the unavailability of ready market for local rice. They were worried inadequate combined harvesters to help them harvest rice is also affecting their operation. This is a report by Tanko Mohammed Rabiu.
The Upper East region is noted for the cultivation of rice, adding to the country's GDP. However, rice farmers in the area are faced with a number of challenges, which is impeding effective rice production. When TV3 visited the Tono irrigation site, about 200 hectares of rice farms were yet to be harvested due to inadequate number of combined harvesters. Currently, there are only 2 combined harvesters at the irrigation site, servicing over 1,250 farmers. The chairman of the Tono Irrigation Corporation Farmers Union, Chief James Adawina, is calling on the incoming MPP government to pay attention to rice cultivation in the area.
And we are pleading that if the government can bring rice factory here to help us, and there is a challenge of the harvest of the rice, I have the marketing strategy problem. When you see the rice here, we can supply the whole terrain and beyond even Ghana, if they are able to prepare to help Tono Irrigation Cooperative farmers.
Women who engage in rice production are compelled to harvest rice with manual equipment, which delays production. The leader of women rice farmers, Felicia Pelabia, reiterated the need for them to get enough combined harvesters.
Combines that are our major problems, because when you do your farm, at times like last season like this, there was no combines for us to harvest. So most of the farms remain there. People do not even harvest one bag out, because the women were so weak that when you go to any woman that will please you even have to go to the house to beg. So if you allow them, take money and they will cut. And you will now take men and they will trash and you also pay them. And you take women again to winnow. And that's a lot of cost.
The acting managing director of irrigation company of Upper East region, Sebastian Bana, called for a collaborative effort between the private sector and government to help boost the sector.
The issue of combined harvesters, lack of adequate numbers of combined harvesters, has been with us for some time, because in the past, harvesting of rice on the scheme here was mainly manual labor to do harvesting. The ministry in the past have tried to get some number of combines, but the numbers were not adequate to really do the harvesting in good time.
Still in business, 2 labor unions, Unicof and TEWU, have called on the incoming government to reduce excessive borrowing on the domestic capital market. The unions are of the view such actions could decrease the huge public debt, which is currently hovering around 112 million cedis.
The two unions, Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance Workers, UNICOF, and the Teachers Education Workers Union, TEWU, sounded the warning. They recalled that government had borrowed about 112 million cedis, which according to them is affecting the growth of businesses. Of major concern to them is the increase in public debt, which they believe could double if the incoming government fails to desist from borrowing. Although they underscored the need to borrow and improve on infrastructure, they charged the new administration to reduce it.
We are seeing an expansion work currently undergoing at the ports. Once that was done, it will bring us more revenue. So once we have borrowed and directed it towards whatever we achieve to gain, we should be able to reap back and pay out for the loan.
Meanwhile, the unions have again called for broader consultations and dialogue with the new administration to help stabilize the economy.
The workload on the individual worker and the university, the polytechnic, the colleges of education, the GES, is increasing in terms of the student populations. Meanwhile, their remuneration is being the same. And these are critical issues we want to see the government address swiftly.
Rural communities are turning around their economic fortunes by adopting a community approach to savings. Jason Amu found out at Amamo in the Kintampo district of the Bono-Ahafo region. The people prefer community savings groups to traditional banks because it is convenient and it offers better access to credit.
Seven out of every 10 Ghanaians do not save with a bank for several reasons. Most Ghanaians reside in rural areas where banks are few. Amamo is a typical rural town in the Kintampo South district of the Bono-Ahafo region. The road leading to the town is in a deplorable state, hence the absence of commercial or rural banks. In their quest for economic growth, the people in the community have adopted a savings group policy. With assistance from organizations such as World Vision Ghana, the savings group has a structure by which it operates. 3 people keep the keys to the box. The person who keeps the box is not allowed to have a key. There are 30 community savings groups in Amamo. This group, which started in 2014, has helped all of its members start and expand their businesses. The group at Amamo Kintampo South meets weekly under a tree to perform transactions. The meeting starts with a counting of money collected from previous meetings. 3 money counters count the money to ensure nothing is missing. Deposits and loan repayments are then made, after which all other transactions and activities can be done. Loans are given at interest rates of 5% based on how much one has contributed. Most of the members are traders and farmers who previously could either not access credit or had defaulted on their loan repayments to commercial banks and money lenders in Kintampo or the regional capital, Sunyang, because of high interest rates.
My shop became almost empty at one point because I spent everything on repaying loans from banks. Thanks to this group, I now have a thriving business.
I'm not strong. What I get here, I invest into my yam and cassava farm. Without this group, I wouldn't have been able to do it because I can now afford to pay people to manage my farm.
The savings group also has a social fund component that offers support to members who have peculiar needs or are bereaved. Contributions to the social fund are also made weekly, separate from the general weekly contributions. At this meeting, members' contributions totaled 1,160 cedis for general deposits and 440 cedis for social fund contributions.
That's it for the business news. Let's now look at one of our headline stories, which of course has to do with Christmas. Christmas is a Christian religious day meant to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. The day has grown in popularity over the years and is celebrated both by Christians and non-Christians who make time to make merry and be with loved ones.
Christmas is marked annually to commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ by Christians all over the world. It is observed commonly on December 25 as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the world. During Christmas festivity, such services are held and sometimes attended by pagans and people of different beliefs. The first recorded date of Christmas being celebrated on December 25 was in 336, during the time of the Roman Emperor Constantine, the first Christian Roman. The celebration also recalls the tribulation parents of baby Jesus went through from the time of conceiving to birth. The baby, who is believed to be the savior of the world, was birthed in a manger because all health facilities in Bethlehem at that time were said to be occupied. In Ghana, Christmas is a time for showing love and fostering unity. Families also organize feasts for their members and friends after church service. Children have decorated masquerade attires and begged for alms along the major principal street in some cities. Outdoor activities such as clubbing, swimming in the oceans also add color to the occasion. Christmas is here again, and we are expected to make merry.
In line with this, we have on Skype the president of the Full Gospel International Church, Bishop Samuel Mensah. He'll be explaining to us the significance of Christmas and its relevance in the 21st century. Good afternoon, Bishop. Welcome to Midday News, and thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Now, to start
and a Merry
off,
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, of course. To start off, how significant is Christmas in our world today?
Well, thank you very much. From the religious point of view, or from the Bible point of view, the relevance of Christmas, I would like to look at the relevance of Christmas, the reality of it, the reason and the results in a few minutes. The relevance of Christmas is the fact that God came to earth to relate to mankind. You know, if man has to go to the moon, he needs a shuttle space to take him to the moon. God has to come to mankind through the birth of a woman. Every human being was born through the birth of a woman. And that is the reality, the fact that God came as a human being to relate to mankind. The reality of the fact that God became man and lived among us. If God wanted to speak to dogs, he would have been a dog. If God wanted to speak to birds, he would have been a bird. But God wanted to relate with human beings, so he became a man to live with humanity and to die for mankind, and then to bring life transformation. The end result is that man will become an agent of peace, an agent of transformation to bring a change in the life of humanity. So at the end of the day, we are supposed to be agents of change, and that will call for attitudinal change, a change that will affect people. We are supposed to be the salt and the light. The relevance of Christmas is that we will become transforming agents and to bring change to our society.
Great. Bishop, now, I'm sure you would acknowledge that the manner in which Christmas is celebrated by Christians has changed over the years. What do you make of how Christmas is now celebrated by Christians the world over?
Well, the world over, people have really changed the Christmas story to just buying and selling and making merry and just making money out of the festivities. There's nothing wrong to cash in. There's nothing wrong. But to replace Christmas with just buying and selling and drinking, that is not the relevant. That is not the reality of Christmas. Christ came to die for mankind, and that man will become an agent of transformation and an agent of peace. So we need to take everybody back to the original story of Christmas, that it is, the song says, God and sinners reconcile. Christians must become the mouthpiece of transforming our society. And that should become the reality of what Christmas is all about. Wherever we find ourselves, we should be the agent of change and to bring change in our society and in our community also.
Okay, Bishop. Now, like we were saying earlier, Christmas is not just celebrated by Christians. Non-Christians are celebrating Christmas as well. They see it as time to relax and spend time with family. In the larger scope of things, what impact should the celebration have on society?
Well, the celebration should bring us to a place of reflection. For me, the most important thing, especially for Ghana, is attitudinal change. We need a socio-cultural transformation. We need to decide that, listen, we are not happy with the state of affairs. We are not happy with what we are doing with our lives. We are not happy with the state of our nation, and that we will also want to bring a change. Change must start with the individual. We must be the change we want the world to see. We must be the change we want our community to see. So change must start with the individual, with the family, with the community, with the society, at our workplace, and then, of course, it will reflect in the nation. And so as we celebrate this Christmas, we ask ourselves, what are some of the things that we would like to go into the new year without carrying the old baggage of we are not caring for one another, the old baggage of we are not interested in providing the transformation for our country? What are some of the things we need to throw away so that we can move into the new year with an attitude of helping and contributing towards national development? That, for me, is very important to consider.
Bishop Samuel Mensah, we are very grateful for your insight this afternoon, and we wish you an excellent Christmas celebration.
A Merry Christmas to your wonderful viewers, too.
Thank you. Bishop Samuel Mensah is the president of the Full Gospel Church International. He was sharing with us the significance of Christmas in the 21st century. You're still watching Midday Live, the Christmas edition. We'll return with more, return with sports news after this.
Hi, good afternoon. It's time to bring you the latest in sports news with me, Thierry Nyan. Now, Midday talisman Kwesi Donsu left Accra on Saturday afternoon to complete his move to Saudi Arabian side Al Wada FC, according to local reports. Now, Donsu traveled in the company of the club's chief executive, James Esilfi, to put pen to paper. It is believed that a Mecca-based side made an offer not less than $250,000, which was accepted by the Takwa-based side. Now, Al Wada have a partnership agreement with Midday, making his transfer to the Gulf country easier. Donsu, an offensive midfielder, was second joint top scorer in the Ghana Premier League with 15 goals. He had been linked with moves to major European sides, including English Premier League side Middlesbrough. Still on the African continent, some good news for African football. Former Cameroon captain Rigobert Song is fit again after a narrow brush with death when suffering a stroke in early October. He explained in an interview published by French daily L'Equipe on Saturday. He said that he's back from the brink, and that was a brink of death. That was according to the former Liverpool and West Ham United defender who led Cameroon to back-to-back Cup of Nations. And he also continued to say that his blood pressure was up high, like 25, and it felt like his head was exploding, recounting how he experienced that particular traumatic, ailment. And then all over to England, we go straight to, the former manager of the England Three Lions, Sam Allardyce. He is now appointed the head coach of Crystal Palace. He's described his infamous sacking as England manager as one of the darkest moments of his career.
First 4 weeks was something that was one of the darkest moments in my career, I would think. I think that I think probably more certainly the early reaction, which was a bit hysterical to say the least, looking back on it. And but we've had that problem, and I'm talking about me and my wife and my family. We all had to deal with that problem, my children, my grandchildren at school, and so on and so forth on what was said. But eventually, time passes by and you all overcome those adversities and you move on. And moving on for me and finally to bridge the bed is taking this job.
Well, there is this myth in England that if you're looking to get out of relegation and you are somewhere in the relegation zone, Sam Allardyce is the only man who can help you. Maybe he's going to be working his magic on the Crystal Palace club. Now, let's look at the English Premier League fixtures on Boxing Day, because Chelsea will be coming up against Bournemouth without Diego Costa and N'Golo Kante, and then Arsenal will face West Bromwich Albion at the Emirates, Leicester City against Everton, Manchester United against Sunderland, and then Hull City against Manchester City. And then you would also have the likes of Andrea Ayew playing away at the Liberty Stadium. So it will be a very first return for Andrea Ayew to the Liberty Stadium as West Ham United come up against Swansea City. We'll also see a clash between Southampton and Tottenham Hotspurs. January 1st would mark the beginning of the transfer window in Europe, but some players have already started moving. Remember, Oscar moved to China from Chelsea in a blockbuster, winter, transfer. But Wolfsburg forward Julian Draxler has agreed to join Paris Saint-Germain for a reported £35.75 million. The 23-year-old, who was set to be a target for Arsenal over the last few transfer windows, has agreed a 4-year deal with French champions. Now, Wolfsburg said both clubs had agreed to keep the financial details of the deal confidential. He is an outstanding footballer, according to the Wolfsburg manager, and he also said that he hopes that his move to France provides him with a fresh challenge. And then we go straight to tennis, where Juan Martín del Potro has decided to miss the Australian Open in order to provide himself with more preparation time for the remainder of the season. Now, del Potro has been plagued by wrist problems over the past 3 years, but he returned to the ATP Tour last season, reaching the Olympic final and helping Argentina also win the Davis Cup. He had been scheduled to play in Auckland before taking part in the first Grand Slam event of the year 2017, but he will now return to the court in February at the earliest. Now, del Potro now sits in 38th place in the world rankings after his return to action last year. He had been ruled out of action for several months due to some injury he got a few years back after winning the 2009 Australian Open and US Open as well. And that's exactly how we are going to be ending today's sports news. Remember, we'll bring you some more news later on News 360. My name is Thierry. Keep watching TV3 and enjoy the rest of your holidays.
Welcome back to Midday Live. It's now time for us to take a look at news from the international community. A Russian military plane with 92 people on board has crashed into the Black Sea. Russia's defense ministry says the plane disappeared from radar 2 minutes after taking off from the resort of Sochi at 5:25, which is 2:25 GMT. Debris and one body have been found with no reports of any survivors. The defense ministry said the Tu-154 was carrying soldiers, 64 members of the famed Alexandrov military music ensemble, and 9 reporters. It was flying to Latakia in Syria. The flight originated in Moscow and had landed at Adler Airport in Sochi for refueling. Let's now take a look at news from the world of entertainment. Getting ladies to fill a whole auditorium can be a Herculean task, but when Efia Nocturno gets on it, the whole place comes to a standstill. Girl Talk was the talk of the town on Friday night when ladies came out to play. Adra Mofara Osei has the details of the event.
That's why she has no ties at this time. Yeah. Trying, but she needs to be more than one than before.
Even though it has been dubbed an all-girl concert, the surprises from some men in the entertainment industry was alluring. The likes of Sarkodie, Mr. Easy, Nilanti and Akwabwa pulled a fast one on the ladies as they performed back-to-back hits to their excitement. The crowd went into frenzy when the all-men squad, Bola Ray, Papi Kojo, Joey B and D Black stepped out to share rose flowers. The ladies went gaga with screams and applause as expected. As the theme suggests, girl talk could not have ended without some empowering messages and girly convos with some celeb females. Well, who thought the atmosphere could change to a worship mood? But when Ifya twisted her performance, heavens opened. And finally, the Christmas giveaway was breathtaking. Some patrons who were at the show said it was an amazing experience for ladies to gather and have fun their own way.
Girl Talk is about bringing us together, having fun. And this is not the kind of show that you need to wear a gown, the red carpet thing, you know, just be yourself and then, yeah, that kind of thing.
This is fantastic. There's this saying that women are their own enemies, and shows like this really discard that kind of mentality, and I think it's fantastic.
The V being victory, value, and then we should learn to love ourselves. We should learn to work together as women. You know, it makes us stronger.
Yeah.
That's how we end our Christmas edition of Midday Live this afternoon from the News Hub. Remember, we have more news on our website, 3news.com. You could also tune in to Onya FM 95.1 or 3FM 92.7 for more. I'm Natalie Fort. For myself and the entire Midday team, we say thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Christmas.